How is it back there, Jeffrey?
Yeah, we're heading to the beach house. A little windy out here today. I think they're a little nervous. No one's really allowed to take the kayaks to the beach house, so except us worthy seamen.
Right, but it is going to be a challenge coming back.
I think so.
Yeah.
What did you want to talk about today, my love, on this video?
I wanted to talk about second chances, which equal opportunities, which equal almost reinventing yourself or living the dream today, right? I mean, yesterday is gone.
Right.
Whatever happened yesterday is over, whether it was amazing or whether it was not amazing. It's over, and every single piece of it gives you an opportunity to determine how to proceed on this brand new day when you get up, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it has nothing to do, past has nothing to do with today or the moment, right?
Exactly.
So, every day you start out fresh.
Right. Sorry, I got some clickbait over here. All right, so yep, there's our clickbait. So make sure at the end of this that you like the video and you comment, etc. Right?
Okay, so yeah, each day you start out fresh. So yesterday doesn't matter. Whatever happened, you had a bad day or a good day, I think is what you're saying.
Right.
But in the now, you have every chance, every opportunity to make it whatever you want.
Exactly. And I do believe that the universe gives you opportunities for second chances. And I think for you and I, Jeffrey, I mean, especially you, but because it was you, it impacted my life too and gave me an entirely new perspective on life, was back in September of 1991 on September 17th, which was exactly 6 months to the day that you and I were married. You got up and went off to work like you always do. And for some very bizarre, and I'd like to say unknown reason, but the reason is clear now, I decided not to go to work that day. I wasn't sick, and I didn't really have a reason that I could come up with at the time of why I had planned not to go to work. But clearly the universe, or a message from the universe, told me that I needed to be where I was on that morning in order to handle the series of events that followed that day.
It was a day for the record books, wasn't it?
It was a day for the record books. So, Jeffrey, I'm going to let you tell the story of how it unfolded, because I know that you gave me a kiss goodbye and told me you loved me and got into your cute little red BMW and headed off to work.
Yeah, well, it was, what did you say, it was 91? Was that the date?
September.
Oh, 91 was
17th of 1991.
Yeah, I had a car phone back then, and car phone, listen to me, car phones, so this is what we called them.
That's what it was
there
called?
There weren't that many mobile phones back then. But I had a mobile phone, and at the end of the day, I was listening to my positive motivational tapes, cassette deck tapes, Zig Ziglar, I think it was, and I saw an accident on the highway. An older gentleman got in an accident in front of me, crumpled bumper, and then he pulled over to the side. I said, I'm listening to my positive motivational tapes. I said, you know what, I'm going to go help this guy out. I'm all pumped up, heading in to run a sales meeting. And then I pull over in front of the car, and he was pulled over on the side. So I pulled over in front of him and got out of the car, and all of a sudden he floors the gas on his car. He had a big Monte Carlo. Floors the gas and the brake, I guess, at the same time. Found this out afterwards. So I look back, like, what is he doing? And he takes his foot off the gas, off the brake, or the brake lost out, and the car lunged forward and smashed into my brand new car, which I love. It's my pride and joy. And then, worse, he wheeled it left hit me, I went flying down on my hands and knees, and he kept coming and drove over me. My head was underneath the Monte Carlo. Both tires went across my chest.
And that's when he hit my pride and joy.
Yeah. So anyway, obviously I'm here to tell a story, but 2 tires drove across my chest on the highway with my head underneath the car. So I had 7 broken ribs, a punctured lung, among other things. You know, your body goes into shock when something like that happens. I remember lying there thinking, boy, am I dying? What does it feel like to be dying? Because, you know, your body goes into shock. I couldn't actually really feel any pain. It was like a numbness of my whole body. And I was conscious the whole time. I took a couple steps, a couple crawl steps on the pavement before I keeled over. Obviously all the cars had stopped at this point. And I laid on my back, and everybody got out of their cars and the whole 9 yards. So it was pretty scary at the time. I thought of Karen immediately. I thought, you know, what is she going to do without me? We were just married. I said, I have to get back to her. And I truly think that, you know, people have the ability to, you know, live or die in certain situations. I mean, that was serious enough, the car driving across my chest. I think, you know, it's serious enough to kill somebody.
Right. Well, they said it was an absolute miracle that you survived it and that your sternum didn't get crushed. And in addition to that, you had a pen and pencil set, a gold cross pen and pencil set that I had given you as a gift in your breast pocket, which it's a miracle that didn't in turn go into your body, in your heart or your, you know, anywhere and kill you as well. So. Well,
yeah, and it was a Cross pen set, and shout out to Cross Pen, they replaced it. It was so funny because they have lifetime warranties. Yeah, it was a nice gold set that you bought me. Mm-hmm. And when I called into customer service, I said, yeah, a car drove over my pen set. That was the bad news. The worst news is it was in my breast pocket of my shirt, my white pressed shirt for business. I was wearing a suit that day. And so they said, oh, whatever. I don't think they really believed me. But, you know, at the end of the day, I feel lucky to be telling this story. It's a blessing. I mean, at the end of the day, it feels like I had a second chance on life, as you're saying.
Exactly. Well, I really felt that it was a sign, you know, from the universe to really take full pride in every breath and every moment that we have on this planet, because we can get so caught up in, like you said, in the cars and the houses and racing off to work and doing this and doing that, that we forget about just the existence of the moment, which is really what's precious, right?
Exactly.
That's what life is. And to have the opportunity every single morning to wake up and sort of, you know, have a brand new day, a brand new start, a brand new life, whatever you've done previous is just not important. It's what you do right now in this exact minute. And that's one of the reasons that Jeffrey and I are doing these videos, is to take this time right now to share our stories with other people in the hopes that, you know, they don't wait until it's too late to make a change. Do it right now. If you, you know, are in love with somebody, tell them right now how spectacular they are. Don't wait. You just don't know what tomorrow brings. And when I got that phone call, it's so crazy that I happened to be at home. But I think that's where I was meant to be, because it happened closer to where we lived. So they brought him to the hospital closest to where we lived, whereas we both worked pretty far from where we lived at the time. I would have been in the city and, you know, pretty far away, and would have had to, you know, fight the traffic, etc. Instead, you know, I was able to really hop right on the highway and get there. But when I got that phone call that asked for Mrs. Pearl, and I don't know if they still do it the same way, but they did have a female officer call me, and when she asked for Mrs. Pearl, and I said, this is she, and she said, your husband has been involved in a very serious accident, and he's at such and such hospital. That was the only information that she could give me. So she couldn't even tell me if he was alive or not. So here I am hanging up from this call, planning to go to the hospital. And I remember thinking, for me, all I could think of was getting to the hospital, seeing Jeffrey, touching him, and it's funny, I packed up his favorite outfit, which were these shorts and this t-shirt from one of his races, and these red topsiders that he loved, or Vans, I can't, but that he loved. And it's just funny the way my mind was thinking, right? Yeah. I was like, oh, well, he's in the hospital. I want to make sure he's going to be comfortable. And
I was in the hospital. I was in ICU. It was, right?
You were in intensive care. But I certainly was not, in the right state of mind to be making rational decisions. And then as I got in the car and started driving, panic set in because I really just didn't know what I was going to be walking into. But what I did know 120% was that whatever I was walking into, if I was walking into him with injuries that maybe he would never walk again, or he was going to lose limbs. I mean, all these things went through my mind. He was run over by a car, which I actually didn't even know he was run over. All I knew is he's involved in a very serious accident. So I
was just going to say, let me back up the story
too,
because I was in ICU. They were stitching my back because I had a pretty big gash on my back from the muffler or something as I spun underneath the car. But I told the nurse, I could hear the state trooper, the nurse, they said his wife was hysterical or something like that. You were obviously upset.
Right.
And I was worried that you were going to get in an accident coming there. So I said, bring the phone over here. And they brought the phone over because I wanted to just tell you I was okay.
Right.
I could, it's like hard to describe. The wind was knocked out of me almost like permanently because I had one lung obviously punctured. And my whole chest was like swollen from the incident.
Well, let me just back up 2 seconds before that. They were saying to me, your husband is a hero. And I'm thinking, oh, well, this, in my mind, I'm so glad I already know he's my hero, but it sounded pretty ominous when they said that. Like, none of it was fully registering with me. And that's when I think Jeffrey heard that I was on the phone with somebody in the ICU or the emergency, and he did, ask to talk on the phone, which I think they probably thought he was a little crazy because here he is, not really breathing well, and, punctured lung, broken ribs,
right,
cut up head to toe. But the key thing was that I knew no matter what condition he was going to be in, whole or not, that we were going to have the most beautiful life together. And I saw that and visualized that. And, I hope it's something that most of you never have to go through, worrying about someone that you love being in any kind of an accident, never mind one as serious as this was. But if you do, the main thing is that, these bodies are amazing and resilient, but they are just bodies that house what's really important, which is our souls inside. And it's, when I look at you, Jeffrey, I see in your eyes, I see your soul. I'm not looking at, although I do think you have an absolutely beautiful vessel on earth. But it's beautiful no matter what.
That's important. So I think we all have to know, especially as we're getting older.
Right?
You get older, you get wrinkles, or whatever, you put weight on where you don't like it, that kind of stuff. But you know what? At the end of the day, none of that stuff matters. So you're tied to somebody for other reasons. So
exactly,
I think that's important. But to go back to like when you came into the hospital, because I kind of remember you coming in. Do they just walk you into ICU?
I
sitting there in bed or what?
don't remember. I do remember I had my little bag of your favorite clothes in my hand.
That's strange you remembered that.
I know. And because I was really intent upon giving it to you to make you feel comfortable, because I figured whatever you were in the hospital was not going to be comfortable because it wasn't yours,
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly the moments that led up to that, except that when I saw you and I felt like I could breathe once I saw you, because I figured, again, and I didn't know right away. I mean, it's not like you were up and about, you were pretty immobilized and pretty cut up, and but I remember seeing your face and your eyes and thinking that it was all going to be okay. Whatever it went to from that moment on would work out, right?
Yeah. So it was. I do remember we had a wedding to go to. And I remember telling them I was going to go to the wedding. It was like the next weekend.
Tony and Gail Heggie, shout out to you if you're watching. It was their wedding, and their wedding was the very next week. And Tony actually came in to see you, I think, the second or third day. When you were still in ICU. You were in there for a week or two in the intensive care unit. And I remember before he walked in to see you, I said, Tony, whatever you talk about, just Jeffrey thinks that we're going to your wedding, and as much as we'd love to go, he's still going to be in here, so we won't be going, but just go along with it. And I think it's really important for him to really believe that he's going to be attending the wedding. And you were always looking forward instead of backwards on your future, and I think that was really a big part of your recovery.
I think it definitely was. And at the end of the day, it's just I knew I was pulling out of it. I felt lucky throughout the whole incident. Lucky to be alive. That was like I said, I was scared out of the gates, and I'm not gonna lie. But once I got through it, once I got in the ambulance going to the hospital, I knew I was going to be okay. And I was just like, man, how is this even possible? So I felt so lucky to even be alive. So it wasn't a negative experience, if that makes sense, right? I mean, obviously it was a terrible incident, but
looking back, you see the silver lining that we always talk about.
Right.
If you look at the entire incident, the things that were important that morning were no longer important at all, right? The meeting that you were going to, the calls that you had to make, it really puts into perspective what's important. And I think the only thing that's important are the people that you love and care about. And everything else becomes really insignificant when you bring it down to something so serious as this might be it, right?
You can't keep an eye out there. I saw a lot of fish just jumping.
Oh, really? Okay.
Something big is down below.
Ooh.
But anyway, so
I think I'll tuck my feet in.
But at the end of the day, so I think that's the story. We're almost up here to the beach house.
And I know Jeffrey's not the only person in the world who's been run over by a car. So if you have a similar story where you saw your life before you, and you almost felt like Jeffrey did, where it was like, he always says this must be what it's like when an animal gets hit, but you have a choice. He felt like he really had a choice to make at that moment. I remember you saying the pavement was so hot and your body was swelling, your chest was swelling, but you were so concerned about me and us and what would I do without you that, in that moment you had the choice, right?
I was coming home to this.
Right, and you made that decision. So obviously anybody that's watching this who has had a near-death experience has also made that same decision, and we'd love to hear your story down below or comment on this one. And it doesn't have to be as severe as being run over. Just remember that when you wake up every single day, you've got a choice on what to do with your day. And if you can make somebody else's life just a little bit easier, do it. If you and your loved one have had a quarrel, forget about it. It's so insignificant. And think about it. Usually those quarrels are over the silliest things. You can't even remember what they're about. People get divorced over, the toothpaste because he or she squeezed the toothpaste in the wrong spot, or I didn't like the way they flossed their teeth, or something so unimportant and ridiculous. So think about what's important. Please comment below. Please subscribe. Like our videos if you like our content, and let us know what you'd like to hear about. We've got a lot of cool life experiences we'd love to share with you. Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love.
All right, guys.